here.
I said I really hope that Warzone, like the next COD, just kind of bleeds into Warzone. That they don't like launch a new Warzone like, you know, Black Ops Cold
Yes,
War edition. That would be
that
so
would be
terrible.
awful. I mean, we've talked about this before multiple times at this point, just
I
for the lack
know.
of information that's out there
It
right
just,
now.
I'm just worried, and that's making me very nervous.
The main reason you feel this way is because, like, me and you have been out of the Call of Duty loop for a while. Modern Warfare is where we jumped back in. We've only had our feet wet for like 8 to 10 months since we stopped really playing like
Which,
hardcore
in the
for
grand
years.
scheme of things, is like the blink of an eye.
Yeah, because like I don't know, man. Like we talked about, what would make the most sense is for Warzone to persist and the content from all the new Call of Duties to just bleed into Warzone naturally.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about. Now, my whole thing is based on what the article you sent, where they made an official statement about it again. They went from saying Warzone's going to be integrated with the next Call of Duties to Warzone is going to, what was the adjective they used? Be
Um.
very closely integrated or something like that. It was
Yeah.
a single
Something like
word.
that.
Yeah, but my
Uh.
whole
They really made it seem like they were just gonna put content into Verdansk.
yeah, and that's the
Uh,
smartest thing they could do. Even if it was like, I don't know, the way that they made it sound, like we talked about, where it should just be every time a new Call of Duty comes out, just pump all that content into Warzone. The way they made it sound, it was almost like Warzone's going to continue, but instead of just doing blanket dumps into the game, it sounded like they're going to do like almost like delayed seasons that might include content from the new Call of Duty.
like that's a lot of content.
Yeah, but like
Also,
imagine
you have
like,
to think the size of this game is enormous. Like it might be one of the biggest games out there right now. Like as
oh,
far as like
absolutely.
raw
I
hard
think
drive
they
capacity goes.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant like big as in people are playing it.
That
Both
too,
make
really.
sense. Both make sense. But the main reason we
Dude, come
wanted
on. If it's not fucking one angle, it's another.
the main reason we talked about them just pouring content into it is we talked about how, like, when Call of Duty 4 came out, they end up using that engine for years.
Yeah.
Just kept on modifying it up until this engine. And this game hit so fucking huge that it's likely, and based on the footage that we
The
saw,
same thing is going
it's
to
gonna be
happen.
the same thing.
The same, like every
Exactly.
COD from here is just going to be a mod of this one.
Exactly.
And like
And
I'm I'm more okay with that now in 2020 than I was in 2007 when after Modern Warfare 3 released, no, in 2000 what 10 when Modern Warfare 3 released, and it was just like blatant ripoffs time and time again.
yes. And one of the reasons why, if they're gonna go that route again, which is fine, the engine works, whatever, I hope that the content's worth it. They need to use this as an opportunity to grow Warzone differently than any other battle royale out there, any other Call of Duty before it. It just makes the most sense given the state of the industry and the state of this Call of Duty series. It just
Yeah.
makes it's the most sense. We scratch our heads going, is it possible? What are they going to do? The main reason we go like that is because it's Activision. If there was ever a company that was just going to bungle that whole decision for the sake of just, milking the series again, it's going to be Activision. You know? So,
Yeah, they have a once in a I don't even want to say generation because this is obviously going to bleed into the next
oh,
generation.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
they have a once in a franchise opportunity. That's probably the better word for it.
Yes, that's an excellent way to
To
put it.
really do something special here when it comes to an entire genre of a game.
Yeah.
So like COD has become its own genre, which that's a whole other can of worms. But
Mhm.
like they have their own fucking currency, they have COD points, and
Yeah.
that makes them God knows how much money every
Yeah,
month or
the fact
every
that they
quarter.
sell the fact that they sell $130 bundles means that they're making money on it enough to justify putting that on the storefront and risking bad press over such a decision. you know? But
Yeah, but like, going
like
back to my point, like
yeah.
they have such a unique opportunity to mold the battle royale genre, or really the Warzone genre, the Call of Duty genre in mass, that like if they, oh god, if they blunder something, it's gonna be painful.
And a step beyond that, it would justify their model of using the same engine over and over again, because then they
That's
could
the
just say,
ironic part. It would
yeah,
actually justify what they've been doing for the past 20 fucking years.
yeah. It's nuts to me how much of a no-brainer it is, but we talk about it like it isn't because of the company we're dealing with. It's crazy to me. But
Yeah.
Our hopes were just new Call of Duty comes out, put all the content into Warzone. I think now more than ever, it's likely that it's going to be like how we've been doing seasons with Modern Warfare and Warzone. I think it's going to be the same thing for Warzone, only you're going to get seasons with content relating to the new Call of Duty. It's not going to be a blanket dump that will then have Warzone update with the newest Call of Duty. I think they're going to utilize the content of the latest Call of Duty to craft seasons in Warzone. I think that's what's going to end up happening.
I agree with you to an extent, but here's where my mind goes when it comes to Warzone as a game, as a title.
Go for it.
So number one is it's the God, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's the game mechanically, right? So I know we said that they're gonna probably be modding this engine until Kingdom Come, until it's really time to make something new again. But so I don't think they should get rid of armor, right?
No.
The armor system in Warzone is perfect the way that it is.
It works perfect when you're
Yeah.
putting Call of Duty into Battle Royale, regenerating health sticks, and you have to manage armor. That is as high maintenance as it should get for Call of Duty Battle Royale.
So my question really is like, does Verdansk look the same for the next 10 years? Like, obviously it's in the modern day. We have like modern day buildings. If they go into the past, which is what this latest COD is looking like, what does that mean for Warzone? Or do they just, is that just like, they don't, like separating campaign and multiplayer? Like, is it just going to be...
So here's what I think.
You understand what I'm saying here? Like, is it going to be
saying?
a different animal?
So here's what I think. I think that the Warzone mechanics. Well, first I'm going to talk about. You talked about Verdansk. I'm going to talk about that first because my feelings on that.
I really think they need a second map at least.
It ties into that. I think this is a quicker answer, so I'll start there and then I'll talk a bit more about mechanics. As far as the map situation is concerned, one map per new Call of Duty, with seasonal changes. Like, we had it.
That's right. The extended mag for this new submachine gun is 50 rounds.
There you go.
Ooh. Okay. All right. I continue. I'm sorry. I got really excited for a second.
It's fine. It's fine. So, seasonal up. Every Call of Duty, you add a new map. Now, obviously, Verdansk doesn't look identical to what it did when the game launched. There's been tweaks and such, right?
Yeah.
So, when a Call of Duty wraps, when you select that Call of Duty's map in Warzone, or it gets brought up in the selection, so to speak, it cycles randomly between variants of the map. I think that's what they should. I think that's what they should do. Every Call of Duty that comes out adds a new map, and that map will go through its seasonal changes and events. And then when that Call of Duty wraps, that map is on rotation with the variants being random based on reception, how the maps looked, and all that stuff.
The way you're saying this should be is that they would have not countless. That's the wrong word, but they would have like a ton of variants of the same Warzone map.
I think it would ultimately boil down to 2 to 4 variants. Okay. Like when let's say this happens. Next Call of Duty Black Ops, Cold War Black Ops, whatever it is, or Cold War Black Ops, Cold War, whichever it is, comes out. They have their new map. It's cycling through. It's going through. Its changes throughout the seasons. But in that rotation, you have Verdansk, as it was when the game launched. Is that not how you pronounce it?
I just say Verdansk.
Verdansk, whatever. You have that map on rotation, And when that map is selected, you either play on the vanilla or you play on the one that it is now with the train going around and the stadium blown up. Now, obviously, it's not as cut and dry as that. There will obviously be kind of like a finalization modification of it. Like if they decide to do the train as like a mode that's constant, they'd have to leave the train tracks adjusted even in the vanilla version of the map, right? So
true.
It's a bit more in depth than how I just kind of summarized it, but what I'm getting at is there's a way where you can follow the new Call of Duty's bleed into Warzone path that gives you new maps without constantly adjusting the new one, you know?
So I'm gonna say that they will never do a variation style of
I'm not saying it's likely, I'm just saying that's the way to do it in my opinion.
I get you.
At very minimum, they should add a new map optimally every 8 months, but I'll take every Call of Duty adding a new map. You know?
Yeah. I don't even think they'll do a new map with every title. 'Cause I think the title, so major title updates, which are basically going to be like, new COD games, I think they're going to be like the multiplayer of the franchise. Warzone, they'll have content based on the different games that come out year over year, but I don't think it's going to be like a whole new game. They're going to have things will bleed over. I think if they are smart and keep the community together, that's what it's going to look like.
That's another way they could do it. I'm sure that I'm sure that you feel a similar way about this. I personally like when content is added and accessible. I've never been a huge fan of like, we're gonna update this map and we're gonna tweak it and that's just the map you play on now. But if they choose to do that, Verdansk could constantly evolve. Like maybe in 4 years, if they decide to just constantly do content bleeds, Verdansk looks completely different with elements of Modern Warfare, Cold War. Maybe a World War II Call of Duty comes out after that. Who knows? Yeah,
that's the thing. This is gonna be an elemental thing. It's not gonna be like here's a whole new set of vehicles. Like here's a Huey helicopter and the old school Galil, the M16. Like it's not. I don't know, man. I just give us some clarification. Give us something.
Yeah, all this is born of a lack of clarification. Now, you also asked about how mechanics should be handled.
Yeah.
The two best ways to do it is either don't touch how Warzone works, never touch how Warzone works, or...
That is what I think they should be doing, is just don't touch how it works, because like everyone's so used to it already.
Yeah. The alternative is to cautiously cherry-pick features to add. Like... I wouldn't want them to take away tactical sprinting from Warzone. I think that's silly. But I hear Cold War is going to have swimming. You could add swimming to Warzone. That's an addition that works and doesn't affect the ground mechanics,
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah. So that's how I'd handle it. Like you said before, don't touch the armor system. Armor system is perfect for the current layout of Call of Duty. The current layout of Call of Duty does not demand anything else. I think Blackout, it was a little too much management with like the fact that you could recharge your health manually and then boom, you're out of first aid kit, so you got to dig through 3 different layers of health. It didn't work. Managing armor,
I hated Blackout so much.
Managing armor is the perfect mid ground because you have just enough to keep yourself suited for combat, and if you bungle it, you're not feeling like you're completely out of the game because you still have your health pool, So I think like you said, mechanically, don't touch that aspect of the game. Doesn't make sense.
I think they'd have like a fucking mutiny on their hands if they touch the game mechanically. I really do.
But I mean, we've talked about it, and you seem confident that it's possible that they'll just do a new iteration of Warzone every time a Call of Duty launches, and I think that is the dumbest thing they could do. I am
confident that it is possible. I hope to God that I'm wrong.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong too. The worst thing...
Dude, I can't like talk and play at the same time. I'm doing so shitty.
Yeah, it's a difficult balance.
I'm leveling up the gun.
it's a difficult balance. We haven't consistently had conversations and played in like a long time, so
Yeah.
it's